Oh boy, this video I've been wanting to make for a long time. You have no idea. And I'm not gonna play with like zooms or mods or anything because I'm on the latest snapshot, so I don't have access to those. I'm on a little server I made for subscribers on the latest snapshot. But I wanted to talk about this. And like I said, it's a video that I've been wanting to do for a very long time, but I was waiting on something that I'll get to at the end of the video. I was waiting on making a little announcement, but I needed some stuff done first, so I couldn't necessarily do this video earlier. Now, disclaimer, heads up, this video is not intended for everyone who hates on me. If you dislike me for whatever reason, and for the reason that this video is stated, that's fine. If you want to keep on disliking me, go ahead, boss, as long as I'm making you feel something. But this video is more for the people who genuinely have concerns, genuinely have questions, genuinely think that I'm doing something wrong without necessarily despising me for it. And it's to those people that I want to... Oh my god, I don't have any food anymore. It's to those people that I want to kind of give... Oh my god, please. Well, thank you. It's to those people that I kind of want to give some explanation, some context, some, you know, just overall answers, my point of view, and from where I come from and stuff like that. So let's get started. Now I'm going to have this video split into chapters, so you can clearly... Oh, Jesus Christ, that's a lot of crafting tables. So you can clearly see the different arguments that are often used about why my mods are paywalled, why they shouldn't be, why I think some of them should be, so that, you know, you can quickly access things. If you have an argument and you would like to see what my answer to it is, there you go, chapters. And the first one is going to be, one of the arguments that I've heard is that all of my mods are paywalled. This is the weakest one so far because, well, one is just not true. It's totally wrong, actually, because still to this day, I do release new public mods that I've worked on for free. But why? Why is there some of my mods that are public and some of my mods that are behind my supporter program and therefore some people say paywall? And it's for one simple reason. It's because the mods I release publicly, I think, are in a finished state. Effective, astronomical, the Mr. Beast mod that, even though that decision wasn't up to me, so I can't take credit for that. But all these mods, that's only a few examples of them, they are finished. They are in a state that I think is playable, that you can use in survival, that you can have fun with without breaking utterly your game and stuff. And that's the whole point why I release them publicly. Because when I release something publicly, I kind of have this expectation on my end and the modding community, because I'll get to that. The modding community has pretty big expectations, but I release them publicly when they're finished, in my opinion. Oh, hello, creaking. And hell, even when I do think that they're finished, people clown on me for my mods being buggy, which leads me into my main point. Okay, bye-bye. The mods I released to my supporters only are mods that I plan to have become public later down the line. It's not something that they're going to stay private forever. I do plan to have them released publicly in the future whenever they're ready, whenever I think they're ready, when they're not so experimental and potentially full of issues, you know? One example that people really like to use as to why I would be lying regarding that is Neverend and Reach for the Stars, which is like my liminal pools mod and my space mod. And for those, well, I only have to say, you think too highly of me. You clearly think too highly of me because they seem shiny in the video. In my opinion, they aren't at all. They aren't at all. Neverend is still very much at a point where I'm not happy with it at all. I still very much dislike the way Neverend level 1 and level 2 kind of like are just endless corridors. Level 3 is great. Level 3 is great with the Grand Gousiers. It's fun. I do agree with that. But like level 1 and 2 are still very much endless corridors in which you lose yourself. And it's not really fun. And for Reach for the Stars, which is my space mod, my argument is that it's not meant to be played in survival. And people who are going to play it in survival are going to be severely disappointed in it. Because, well, it's a roleplay series. And that's kind of the frame of the roleplay series. And also, another thing I would like to add on Reach for the Stars is that it's using Landlord, a library that allows you to have moving blocks, but it's not released yet. So even my supporter version doesn't have Landlord. And people have complained funny enough, not supporters. Supporters love it. But people who have pirated my mods complain that Reach for the Stars is buggy and I should not charge money for it. But that's not the point of charging money for it. The point is, hey, it's buggy. I don't want to put this publicly because people will complain about it publicly, and then I will be flooded with a ton of issues that I know I can't fix and I won't be able to fix for a long time. So, the example for that is that, on Reach for the Stars, you can fly your spaceship around space. That works in the supporter version. But given it doesn't have landlord, you can't land on planets, you can't fly a ship around planets, and even all the stuff that uses physics in the mods, completely out the window. I had to remove it for the supporters. And so people who pirated my mod after seeing the video were severely disappointed, which I find kind of funny because the supporters absolutely loved it, but the people who pirated it were disappointed. I think that's funny. I think that's really funny. And that's the thing. When I release things publicly, the community always expects a certain level of quality. The modding community, the Minecraft modding community has such an insanely high standard and entitlement, I personally think is entitlement, where you release something for free and some people will complain that it's not on Forge, it's not on Fabric, it's not on Quilt, on NeoForge or whatever the fuck. People will complain that it's not updated to the latest version. I get called a crybaby for having spoken about that in the past when, the same people who call me that also keep crying about, what they want from free Minecraft mods and what they expect. Which is not really related to the Paywalled mod discussion. This is more about my past experience making mods completely free all the time and the entitlement of the community having made a lot of Minecraft modders just quit because it's a cesspit. It's a cesspit. It's a cesspit. There's no other word for it. Another anecdote I wanted to put out to just show you how ridiculous it can get. On a fully free mod, I wasn't releasing the supporter mods or anything. Someone complained once that I didn't have quality assurance and that it was unacceptable that a certain bug that, messed up their save and they didn't back it up happened. I'm sorry. Come on. You're not supporting me. You're not supporting anyone. You're just playing stuff for free. Of course you're going to encounter issues. Of course there's going to be some stuff. This is a hobby, okay? At this point, it's my job, but at the time, it's a hobby, okay? Anyway, all that to say that entitlement goes crazy in the Minecraft modding community. It's actually insane. Even though it's one of the more extremes end of the spectrum, that is still a crazy argument that I heard once. And it made me laugh, so I thought I'd share it. But to get back on track about the whole supporter exclusive mods discussion, I've had people tell me, I've had supporters tell me that they're really fun, that they're really great, which is cool, but as a stubborn perfectionist, I don't think so. I genuinely don't think so. I don't find them good, and as a reason, I'm like, dude, I can't put this out publicly because then people would be disappointed, so I keep it behind, a whole, oh, it's an early release that people have access to. And people think I use this as a sort of excuse. But no, I genuinely think it. I genuinely think that it's an early access kind of thing. Because otherwise, people would be disappointed. I've said that too much enough. But so I want to leave those early releases of mods to the people who support me financially. Actually, not just financially. I'll get to that point later. But now that we know in what context I pay all my mods, let's get to the number one argument everyone loves using about it. It's against the Mojang EULA. Now this one I love. It's like the 10 commandments. Everyone keeps spewing without understanding what it actually means. And I'm not saying the Mojang EULA is wrong, and I'm not saying I'm not in a gray zone of the Mojang EULA. I can understand that. But I feel like it's important to get behind the history of what that clause in the EULA actually stems from. Originally, that clause is one of the oldest in the Minecraft EULA. Now, why does it exist? Well, see, at the very start of Minecraft, there used to be cheat clients, basically, which count as modded version of the game, which is why in the same paragraph, there's also, you may not distribute modded versions of our game, because, then that the cracked versions, the cheat clients that would often be cracked, would just be distributed either for free or for money, which is why this clause covers both, being hey, you may not, distribute modded versions of the game, just like you may not paywall, just like you may not try to make any money from mods. Previously it was selling, now it has been updated to not make money off of mods. But that's the thing. It's a little encompassing, don't you think? I'm sorry, that sounded extremely condescending. I absolutely didn't mean that way. But it is a little encompassing because technically, if you were to follow that clause, then you would argue that making revenue off of websites like CurseForge or Modrinth, where you get ad revenue from the mods, could also technically be an attempt at making money off of mods. And I've had people literally say that, yes, even that shouldn't be allowed, which I won't get. I just think it's an utterly insane statement. That's my personal opinion on it. But that's the thing, right? That's the thing. Where do you draw the line? Because clients are also mods. And people don't have anything against clients from what I've seen. Cosmetics also make money from mods, and there's a ton. Another one I personally like is the Optifine capes as well, which are in exchange of donations. People don't seem to have much against that, even though, you know, they're just technically also cosmetics. So if you, depending on where you draw the line, that could also be against the Mojang EULA. But it also monetizes capes in a sense, which Mojang has been vehemently against in the past, but people are fine with it. So it's all a question of where you draw the line. So let me ask you, where do you draw the line? Because if it is that there must be a way to obtain the mods for free for it to not count as trying to make money from them, then there is. I'm sorry to break it to you, but a ton of people have access to that without having ever paid me a single dime. The biggest examples are like my Discord moderators, fan artists who have made fan art in the past, and general regular community members that all contribute to keeping my community alive. They all have access to the mod for free, and most of them have never ever paid me a dime. So yeah, and then you say, okay, but that requires an investment. And so if you draw the line at there must be a way for everyone to access it for free, then does that mean you're prevented from sharing private mods that you make? It's you see, it's like really where you put the line. And I'm not trying to be pedantic about it. I'm genuinely asking that question, and I think it's genuinely something that is worth asking yourself. So if you draw the line at there must be a way to obtain it for free, then yeah, I'm still very much behind that line. Now, another point I've heard is that mods shouldn't cost money when you already paid for the game. And that one, even though it's a little silly because it kind of feels a little bit hypocritical of who you're willing to respect the work of, I can actually get behind. In a sense, it's inconvenient. I completely get that. You paid for the game, and then you have to pay for additional content on the game that is not official. And I get that. It's inconvenient, and we don't want something to head the direction of, you know, Bethesda with Creator Club or Minecraft Bedrock Edition with the marketplace, where you have to buy every single mod for the game. So that argument I kind of get. But here's the funny thing: without my supporters, I wouldn't be where I am today, and I know that damn well. I started the supporter program when I wasn't making much money off YouTube, and I was just basically tossing every single one line of code mod that I made, which was low effort back then, to my supporters as a fun bonus for them to mess around with. And, you know, because I wouldn't be publishing it, I wouldn't make a page for every single one line mod that I made. And so I didn't bother. I wouldn't bother releasing them anyway, so I just tossed it to the supporters, being like, hey, thank you for supporting me. You allow me to live off of this. Here you go, still a little bonus. And yeah, that allowed me to make a living out of it. So without supporters, again, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be making the mods that I'm making today. I wouldn't be making any of the cool videos that I'm making today. And pretty much everything I have today, while it did come at the expense of, you know, some mental health, physical health, working 14-hour days, and hard work, ultimately, I reached that point because there were people willing to support me in the first place. And because of the same people, that's in the long run, you will get access to these mods. You'll get them for free because of these people, because I'm here today, because of these supporters, and because these supporters help fund my videos. So ultimately, without my supporter program that you're complaining about, mods like Reach for the Stars or Never End, that again, I on my soul, I will release them for free at some point. I don't know when, but I want to release them genuinely, sincerely. I literally added a bunch of features to Never End when it was just supposed to be a liminal prison. I added like the ticker, I added the octant, I added a bunch of stuff to Never End because in the long run, in my head, I'm like, I'm releasing this publicly, and it would be cool to have something worthwhile when you go to the dimension instead of it just being a prison for a silly YouTube video one-time thing, you know. So that, again, genuinely, I do want to release these publicly at some point, but I don't think it's the it's in a good state right now. So without my supporter program, without the Paywalled mods, I wouldn't be here. None of these mods would exist. So that whole, oh, he shouldn't release those mods to his supporters exclusively argument kind of feels at the end of the day like a, oh, if I can't have it, then no one should have it mentality, which kind of bothers me. But again, like I said, at the very core of the argument, I kind of understand and I kind of get the inconvenience of it. Now, another argument that I've heard quite a lot actually, which genuinely surprises me, I'm not like, doing some sarcasm here, is that apparently, okay, I'm going to have to be really careful with this one because I feel like I don't want to come across as condescending. I definitely don't want to come across as condescending. This video is literally just me being completely honest, exposing my point of view, putting it out there so that people who want to understand me can understand me. People who have critical thinking can think about it and make their own opinion. Still, disagree with me. But some people think I'm money hungry. Now, that one, I don't understand. I genuinely don't understand. Because if I was money hungry, there is so much more I could do off YouTube, which would make a lot more money. But I'm going to get to that in a bit. But ultimately, where the argument stems from is, but Rat, now that you have a good living off YouTube nowadays, you don't need the supportive funding anymore, so that just makes you greedy and money hungry. That just makes it so you have more money, even though you make money from YouTube, ad revenue, you make money from sponsors, plushies, everything. But here's the thing. Nowadays, sure, the Ko-Fi funding does not really fund my living expenses because that is covered by YouTube. However, that revenue, all the revenue from Ko-Fi, always goes to investing into my videos and making it bigger. And making my videos costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of money. I don't make my videos. I just hop on a Minecraft world, record something, post it, then done. Every time I work on a video, I work on a mod. That takes me 1 to 2 months. And in some terrible cases, 3 or 4 months to make. 4 months on which I cannot work on a video, cannot upload anything. And I'm just crunching to get a mod done for the video. The biggest example for that is Reach for the Stars. Reach for the Stars, I put 12 to 14 hour days. That's generally when I'm crunching, when I'm working really hard, really dedicated to getting a video out as soon as possible, which, yes, as soon as possible means within 2 to 3 months. I know, it's such a sad reality. I'm kind of depressed about that fact myself. How did you get... Okay, whatever, don't get distracted. So Reach for the Stars, right, yeah, okay. Reach for the Stars, I spent, again, 12 to 14 hour days without any breaks for a month and a half, non-stop, if you exclude the video. That's only the mod. That's only the mod. The video I crunched within 2 to 3 weeks, which also was 12 to 14 hour days without any break. But that's the thing. It cost me all this time and effort, and on top of that, $10,000. Yes. Reach for the Stars cost me $10,000. It's a fact that I really like putting out there because some people don't realize Reach for the Stars cost me $10,000. I had to hire Ryan, Capin, 8, in like Osler, a lot of really skilled people that, God bless them, they have such a higher skill level than me. They are, I wouldn't say much more talented because I don't think talent is a thing, but they have such an incredible high skill that I only wish I could have. But point is, I had to hire these people and have them work for me and help me work on this. And as a total bill, I got 1 month and a half of working nonstop myself plus $10,000. And let me break down my expenses to you. I don't know if I'm allowed to share the exact numbers, so I will be sharing a more general number. But let's calculate how much money Reach for the Stars made me. Reach for the Stars cost me $10,000. I made from the video $17,000, and from 2 months of my Ko-Fi, I made $6,000. So in total, you'd think that I've made $13,000 because, simple math, $13,000. Let me teach you about a concept called taxes. And let me teach you about an even worse nightmare concept called French taxes. So let's start with a video bringing me $17,000. I live in France, so 50% of my revenue, actually closer to 54% and even more sometimes, goes to the French government. So $17,000 divided by 2 gives you $8,500. Now you add on to that the $6,000 that I made from Ko-Fi. You take away 50%, again, roughly $3,000. And so you get the number of $11,500. That's the real money I made. And now you take away the $10,000 that the video cost me. And for 2 months of non-stop work, I got paid $1,500 for each of the stars. But that doesn't really bother me because, it's a passion project. And again, it's funded by my supporters, my fans, the people who want to see more of these. But if I was greedy, there are so many more ways I could make so much more money. Now, on top of that, you may bring the argument of the plushies, which I advertised in this video, which made around $6,000, if I recall correctly, with about half of that going to my artist Astron and 10% of that going to the Trevor project and French taxes. So on the plushies, I about made $1,000. I think $750. I don't remember exactly. I don't have the exact numbers on that one. But point is, the plushies, if I didn't make a plushie ad for these, I could have gotten like a sponsor that would pay so much more. But no, I decided to go with the plushies because that one is the one thing you can shit on me for. I am egotistical and I love having a little version of my character behind me. I love them. They look so cute. I love them. That is the one thing you can criticize me for. I am maybe a little bit egotistical. I just like my characters. I don't know. Again, make your own decision. It's up to you. So again, the reason why I released these experimental mods to supporters exclusively first is because, again, without them, I wouldn't be here. And if I didn't have a supporter program, well, one, I wouldn't be here. And two, I wouldn't release the mods anyway, even if I was here. Because again, they're not ready. And it's not like an excuse to bypass whatever EULA Mojang has. It is because I genuinely believe it. And also, I'd like to point, even though some people might think this is virtue signaling, I'm just trying to further my point, that if I was greedy or money hungry, I wouldn't be offering free life subscription with mods included to people who support me in other ways than financially. My moderators, the community fan artists of people who make fun out of me and my friends. And whenever someone comes into my supporter chat going, I have so little money left, but I need to support. Like, come on, don't support me if you don't have the money to support me. Please, by all means, if you need the money more than I do not support me. And I'm not trying to virtue signal or anything. I know some people have said that me saying this, even though it's basic human decency, think I say it for, I don't know, brownie points. No, it's not about the money sometimes, Batman. Again, if it was, I could make so much more on YouTube. Ko-Fi doesn't make as much money as YouTube. If I wanted to, I could put out many more longer, lower effort videos like a lot of other YouTubers, and no hate to them. If it works, it works. Do what you want. Do what you will. Go get that bag, king or queen or whatever you are. But again, I could go a very, very different path. Take more sponsors, do less plushies, because when it comes to time per return ratio, the plushies are terrible. But that's not why I do them. I do them because they're fun and because they're, to me, that's just so cool. That's just so cool. I have 3 mini-me's behind me right now. I'm sorry, I just think that's so cool. So yeah, I could take a very, very, very different path that would get me so much more money. And also, funny enough, probably less backlash. But, I'm doing this out of passion, not out of greed. I'm doing the stuff I do because I like doing it. I genuinely wouldn't be able to live with myself if I was making YouTube as a way to live first and get a mega bag. Hell, you can just look at my Social Blade stats compared to a lot of other YouTubers, okay? Just look at that, okay? If you don't trust me, look at that. Please, look at that. And think that I also have insane charges behind that, okay? I'm not asking you to trust me. I'm just putting up my perspective. I'm going in circles. Let's get to the next point. There's one point that I really like in this that I find extremely funny. And that's an allegation I wanna address. Is that I put malware in my mods. That one, again, I'm not trying to be condescending. That one genuinely makes me laugh. It's a joke taken out of a context on my public Discord, where I was like, oh, okay, next month bonus for supporters, they get to decide whatever pirates get for pirating my mods. And it was a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke. You scroll down, just scroll down. Look at the rest of the messages. People like to put this message aside, but then if you scroll down a few other messages, you see, oh yeah, I would like to do that, /J. And yet they still cropped it out, took it out of context. Funny rumors. I get it, honestly. And funny enough, I've also talked to the people who spread that rumor, and allegedly, I'm saying allegedly, because I don't know if they're saying this because they didn't want to look like idiots. But they were like, oh, we knew it was a joke. We knew it was a joke. And yet they keep spreading that rumor for some reason. But let me look you in the eye. Be real for me. Have critical thinking for 2 seconds. Why would I even do that? What would that achieve? No, genuinely, what would that achieve? Because sure, pirates would get the end of the stick, but I've talked to these pirates. I've seen them. I've literally talked to them. They're a bunch of kids, like actual kids. They're just kids. They're literally just kids. They're literally just kids who don't understand the real world. And to be honest, I'm sorry, I'm going to pull out the files, but I also was a kid. And let me tell you a little bit of a story about myself. I've also pirated stuff when I was 12, 14. I remember pirating the entire Assassin's Creed collection because I was like, oh my god, I don't have the money to play these games, but I wanted to play them. So I pirated them. Yeah, sure. When you're a kid, you're stupid. I wouldn't wish anything on these kids. Yeah, sure, I'm petty, and I know that my whole branding on CarSMP is beefing with teenagers in-game, not in the real world, okay? I don't beef with teenagers in the real world, okay? I'm not that petty. I genuinely wouldn't wish them harm on them because, again, I'm just saying this affectionately, they're just stupid kids, and that's just how it is. They're just stupid kids, and I was a stupid kid once, and I wouldn't wish that upon me. I've had malware when I was pirating stuff and back in the day. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. I installed like a toolbar accidentally on Google Chrome on my grandfather's computer, and I thought the world was ending. I got the biggest ass beating of my life that day. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. So let's say hypothetically, I still want to punish these kids because I have no heart, no soul. All right, think with me a little more. If it f***s up and activates on someone who supports me because they don't like register or anything, or they accidentally mess up something, and then it just... Oh, no, phantoms. And then it just absolutely obliterates that PC or installs malware. Whatever nefarious action you think that this malware would do. I'm sorry, that's a free lawsuit. I would just get sued into oblivion. And 3, well, if I did, I would get taken out of every single platform I post my stuff on. I would lose my livelihood. I would lose all credibility. I would just lose everything. And I have suicidal tendencies. But I wouldn't want to ruin my life in that way. So what's that malware they're talking about? People pirated some of your mods and found malware, right? Well, that's funny because every time you ask these people what the malware is, they don't seem to be able to tell you. So I will. The malware is nothing more than a DRM. Now, what is a DRM? Put simply, it's called Digital Rights Management. And what it does, it basically makes you unable to launch the game if you're not a supporter. That's literally all it... Okay, hold on. That's literally all it does. And I hardly think this is enough to count software as a malware, because if it did, holy shit, every single Minecraft mod in existence would count as well, and pretty much every software that has crashed once in their life would count in that category then. And another thing I found funny is that while you can download my supported mods from official platforms like Discord and Ko-Fi and Modrin for the public ones, the people who spread this rumor that I put malware in my mods have to put my pirated mod downloads on a website that serves you actively malware, as well as adult ads in a Discord full of children. But that's a conversation that we're not ready for. And the thing is, too, that I know very well that putting a DRM is not gonna up my support account. It's not gonna get people to subscribe to me just because they can't play the mod. If people want to pirate my mods, they are gonna pirate them no matter what. They will try and bypass the DRM. So yeah, technically it's a waste of time. So why am I doing it? It makes no sense. Well, there is a reason for that. And it's pretty personal. I'm someone who values loyalty and honor, not in the, oh, die with honor. No, the loyalty and sticking to that word. That's the word I'm looking for. Sticking to that word. And like I explained previously with how I owe everything to my supporters, I therefore think that they should be the only ones to enjoy the benefits of me being here today. And that's the sole reason I have the DRM, because, yeah, it doesn't bring any more money. People who want to pirate my mods will keep pirating my mods. Yeah, I know that. It's not going to change anything. And honestly, I used to have something against that. Not the case anymore. It's just a bunch of kids who don't want to use their parents' credit card. And honestly, I can respect that. I can 100% respect that. Let the kids have the mods. So the whole reason of the DRM is more like a protection layer that is like, oh, I'm trying to make everything in my power so that only the people who support me and should get the benefit of me being here today, well, get the benefits of me being here today. And again, that's the sole reason for the DRM, which, by the way, I knew wouldn't hold. Like that's just like a slowing measure so that before it gets pirated and people start posting it online, then my supporters get to have a little bit of an exclusivity period, which I think was a month before the people managed to crack the DRM, which, again, it's a game of cat and mouse. Or rat. And I'm the rat hunting the cat. Anyway, this perfectly segues into the little announcement I have and that I've been waiting to make because I needed some stuff in the background to be done first. Oh, thank you, Starseal. I appreciate it. Yeah, right, the announcement. So over the past few months, I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about it. And I'm just going to put a disclaimer. This is not, Mojang didn't hit me up in emails being like, hey, take down your shit, I'll release it publicly. No. If they did that, like I said, I'm petty. I would probably just stop releasing my mods entirely. And this is not also due to any other reasons to people pirating my mods. If that affected me, I would have just, stop releasing the mods entirely. I would just stop. So no, I've been thinking, and it's due to 2 projects. The first one is the mod that we made for Mr. Beast that we released with Young. Publicly because we got paid to do the mod and the Mr. Beast team was okay with us releasing it publicly. So we did. And holy shit, the support for it was insane. For like a month, YouTube was full of videos about the $50,000 Mr. Beast mod and how people were experiencing it. And people were having so much fun with it because it was publicly available. And I saw that. I was like, wow, that's really cool. And the second mod that made me ask myself this question is Reach for the Stars. Reach for the Stars. Okay, if you've not played the mod, let me tell you, Reach for the Stars is absolutely incredible. I'm gonna hop into the Reach for the Stars environment right now. Here's the thing, Reach for the Stars is cool. On a screen, it's cool. But to really experience it, you actually have to play it. Like, this all looks cool. This all looks, don't get me wrong, on a video, it looks great if the bitrate is not too low. But, like, it is just insane. It is... Between seeing it in a video and actually physically experiencing it, it is just utterly insanely cool and feels completely different than just watching the video. It's so much more immersive. And that's kind of what brought me to that realization. All of this is just so cool to experience. I remember when I was working on the airship, when I was working on the Freebird for the expedition video, I remember wanting, just like every single project I've had, to give up halfway through because I was encountering so many issues working on the mod that I was like, you know what, maybe I'll give up. And I remember very vividly what Astron told me as I was working on the ship. And Astron told me, this is going to be the best memory some kid will have of Minecraft during their childhood. And that marked me. That actually marked me. And I make these cool videos. Even the people who pirate my mods admit it. They're like, oh my god, we pirate your mods because your videos are cool. And that's something that kind of warms my heart in a sense. Even though they're not really respecting my creative work and the fact that I want to, recuperate my losses of all the money and time and effort I invest into these projects. That is still something that people, even the people who dislike me, will still admit. They can say, the roleplay on SMP is cringe. They can say that my mods are overpowered. They can say I'm annoying. I'm whatever hate they want to put on me. Pretty much everyone agrees that these mods are still, at their core, really cool. And experiencing them, I'm just thinking, right? I'm just thinking as a kid, what I would have given to experience this. And this is my little announcement, because if you remember, like I said, originally my supporter rewards were more like silly little dumb mods that I made, and boom, I tossed them. And then as I grew, as my channel grew, as the support grew, as the, influx of money that I can reinvest in videos grew, those supporter rewards were not so small anymore. Now it's like an entire $10,000 worth, probably more if you include my rate that I would have charged if someone asked me to make this. All of a sudden, that doesn't feel like, like it's just a silly bonus. And I kind of get that. And again, Reach for the Stars I want to release publicly in the future. And you may tell me, oh, in what time? And I would tell you probably 3 years, even longer, because I feel like it will only be finished by then. But in 3 years, some of us won't be around anymore. I'm sorry, I'm going to get very emotional. But in 3 years, some of us won't be around anymore. some people will have, simply because of monetary reasons, not had the opportunity to experience this. And that's where I want to get to. I want more people to be able to experience my mods. I want more people to have fun. Like when we shared with Young and Aichun the $50,000 Mr. Beast mod, people had so much fun. YouTube was flooded for an entire week or month. I don't remember exactly. My memory's a bit hazy. Of people just having fun and experiencing the insane stuff. And every time I see my supporters having fun with the mods I make in my supporter Discord, I'm like, wow, it's kind of cool that, you know, I can make some stuff that people will enjoy so much. And I realized that, yeah, maybe 3 years or a year, because my projects vary so much. I can't work on a single project for so long. I'm someone who varies projects a lot, who can't physically, genuinely, it's physically painful to work on a single project for a long time. I do not have the mental capacity for that. So I always like end up switching to another project, switching to another project, switching to another project, which means that finishing these mods will take me an insane amount of time. And you're right. Maybe 3 years is a little too high. Maybe people will not mind the bugs. I mean, I know some people will. I know some people will bitch about it. I've been in the modding community long enough to know that no matter what you do, if you release your mods publicly, people will hate you for not having the source being visible. If you have visible source, people will dislike you for not having open source, and so they can't like copy your code. If you have not the mod publicly released, like Landlord, people will complain that, oh, it's taking too long. People will complain no matter what. And I'm not doing this because of people who complain. I want to do this for, I'm sorry, I'm going to use a random name, Timmy. You, Timmy, who's 14-year-old. I hope there's like at least one 14-year-old Timmy in my audience that watches this video. Timmy, I'm doing this for you, Timmy. What I want to start is gradually releasing these insane mods I do for my videos, one by one. I want to squash some bugs. It's tedious. It's annoying. I have to make new Modrinth pages for every single one of them. I have to do a lot of stuff, but I've started working on that. And what I want to do moving forward is start releasing publicly more of my mods and have the supporters have additional benefits like HD video downloads, because sometimes YouTube compression is a little goofy. Maybe more behind the scenes, maybe cosmetics, maybe bloopers, maybe still keeping the early releases, but keeping them to like a week or a month. So, you know, there's still some exclusivity, but it's not as long as it was before. So, you know, so that way eventually everyone can experience it in a reasonable time. It might take me some time. It'll surely take me less time than it would if I went with my original plan. But yeah, I kind of want to do that more. And I know some people will still complain, which is probably what we should end this video on this note. People will, no matter what, complain. And I'm not going to start releasing these to appease the people who complain, because no matter what, they will complain. Let them yap. Honestly, look, whether you love me or you hate me, look, as long as I'm making you feel something, boss, okay? As long as I'm making you feel something. If there's some people that are so happy about my videos and my mods that sometimes they cry tears of joy, or they are so affected by a story I make that they cry, and then the people who complain that these really cool mods are not available publicly and they hate me for it, honestly, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to end on a funny note, but that just shows my range, boss. That just shows my range. So yeah, people will complain no matter what, and I'm not doing this for the people who complain. I want to start publicly releasing these mods for the little Timmy, the little me, the people who would like to experience this and who don't necessarily have the money to support me, and just have fun. Just experience these. For more people to make content on it, for more people to just have fun with it. You know? For too long, I've let the current state and bitterness of the Minecraft modding community affect me. People telling me do this, people telling me do that, people complaining about this, that, people making literal modders quit and then going like, ooh, this mod is so great, and then spitting on others. Dude, I just want to have fun modding again. Let's make the Minecraft community better and more understanding. And maybe it'll be in a better place then. And so I want to do this so that some people might just be able to experience these things, even though they wouldn't have had the money to access them early previously. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people who, again, have access to my mods and my supporter benefits for life, for free, because they're just being so active. But there's just people that also don't necessarily have the time to moderate or do art or just be part of that clique in a sense. And so yeah, for these people who watch my videos, who love my content, who support me and watch every single one of my videos entirely. And again, people will complain no matter what. At the end of the day, you're free to think whatever you want to think. If you like me, feel free to like me. If you don't like me, then so be it. Feel free to not like me. But people, this is more of a general note, but people will always be, no matter what you do. You could be a saint. You could be, you know, hell, I know Vasky, who some people revere as a saint. They were like comparing me to Vasky, being like, oh, Vasky releases all of his mods publicly, at least he's a saint. And then I very vividly remember people shitting on Vasky at some point with like some drama. No matter what you do, people will complain. And this is more of a general note on life. I didn't expect this video to take this turn, but no matter what you do, people will find a reason to dislike you. And I'm not saying that they're wrong for disliking you, just like some other people would be wrong for liking you. At the end of the day, we're human, okay? We like and dislike things arbitrarily, okay? There's no logic behind it. There's just emotions, and that's just how the world is. So don't try to please the people who dislike you, who hate you. Just concentrate on the people that actually care about you, on the love that you get, and let the rest yap. Talking of yapping, holy moly, that was a lot of yapping. Anyway, yeah, expect some cool streams when I start releasing these mods publicly one by one. It's still going to take me a bit of time, and people are going to complain about that. But you know how it is. It's how the world turns. It's how the world goes. I didn't expect to finish this video on such a philosophical note. But yeah, exciting stuff coming down the lane. I don't know what to say. Goodbye, I guess.